Hello and welcome to my channel on human design. A couple of days ago, I had a question from someone looking at one of my older videos on being an emotional receiver, someone who has a undefined solarplex. And the question from Eastern tech artists was this: so is it a constant handicap to be open and deal with all this conditioning you don't know how to deal with? Well, it's only a handicap if you don't realize what this is all about in terms of conditioning. If you have an open solar plex, you don't have constant emotional energy running through you. And those that do, those that have a filled in or defined solar plex, they have emotional energy running through, and the waves that it runs through, it's just the way it is. Is it a handicap? Well, if you understand that the emotional ones have this urge to merge, and you don't have the same urge to merge, you actually don't know how you feel. You're not defined in your feelings. You can chew on the emotional pain that you receive if you're open emotionally, and that's where the mind goes. That's where the conditioning goes. That's where the trap is. You have to come to a point of confrontation eventually. And I want to take that further with the next question, the final question, and the question upon which this video is based. And I'm very glad to have this question come to me because it gives me a chance to really face it directly. So here's the question from Leaves 21. I am trying to learn how to process emotions with my open solarplex. It is a bumpy ride. I'm so sensitive to people's arguments that it's hard for me to read the discussions in the comments on social media. Lately, I had a conflict with my emotionally defined friend. She has the 3740 channel. The conflict's core was that I can't satisfy her emotional needs and spend so much time together as she wants. My natural reaction to the strong emotional will pressure on me is to cut the connection. But now I am familiar with human design, I'm afraid that the cutting reaction is my not-self manifestation from the 49th gate, as well as to give in to my needs due to fear of rejection. So I stood in the situation and continue conversation with my friend for a few days, trying to explain my position. That was very exhausting. And after all she said, if she accepts my need in personal space and tranquility, she will betray herself. We are friends of 20 years. This is the first conflict between us, very sudden. I'm trying to find a way to react correctly according to human design, and will be grateful for your wise vision. For now, I decided not to concentrate on emotional pain, take a break, but stay open to my friend from my personality sun. She agreed to the break, but said this is a weak decision to not stay and fight. It is unpleasant to hear, but it seems my emotional center is really weak. So Leaves 21, great to have this question, because it is really something that is a dilemma for everybody, those with emotional systems and those without. You know, that's about half the population. So sooner or later, you have to face the confrontation of the emotional truth of the emotionally defined person in your life. You have to confront their truth. You don't know how you feel. I mean, you can say you love her, and there is actually a great deal of love between the two of you. I can see that in the way that you speak about her. I can see that in the fact that this is the only time it has come up as a conflict. And you say it's come up very suddenly. Well, I'm pretty sure it isn't sudden from her point of view. I don't know her chart. I don't know her profile. There's so much I don't know about her. All I know is that she has the 4037. So it's not much for me to go on. I can't do a proper analysis, but I can say to you that this ratcheting up wave in the tribe is something that ratchets up, and explodes, or ratchets down and explodes negatively, but it's a slow process. It's feeling into it. It's her feeling the pain of the lack of connection with you and putting up with it for 20 years, waiting, while from her point of view, it may seem that you're just pussyfooting around, It's time now, especially if she is of similar age to you and you're coming to the end of your Saturn return cycle. She's got a biological clock. I don't know if it's a sexual relationship. I don't know much about it, but what you've told me. But after 20 years, it's obviously a deep relationship. You've been through a lot. I'm sure, you've been a really wonderful rock for her. Your sense of humor, your practicality, your logical sensibleness, your beauty, your individual perfected form. There's so much you can offer to a relationship, but you're not here for fulfilling your life through relationship. Maybe she is. I don't know what the lead gate is in her chart. But it's very clear that you've reached this point and she's brought this point to your connection with her. And she's right. You're not fulfilling her emotional needs. This urge to merge is a real urge to merge. It's family after all. In the Beyonce song, if you liked it, then put a ring on it. It's more like that. When are you going to commit, man? When are you going to commit? It's now or never. I've had enough. So you may say it's sudden, and it may be sudden to you, but perhaps you weren't paying attention to her. It won't have been sudden for her. She would have been in all kinds of agony over the years, waiting for this connection that never seems to fully be there. And she's now confronting you with it. It doesn't have to be a fight. It doesn't have to be a will fight. God, when wills fight, it's really something else. It's really something else. And, it doesn't have to be about the will. It doesn't have to be disrespectful. There is love there. There is mutual respect there. You've taken it to heart. You've stood in it. When you receive the emotional energy with this amount of clarity and strength, there's nothing you can say. Of course, it's going to be exhausting if you're trying to argue your point through your 17, or seeing another perspective through the 11, or cracking a joke, or trying to distract her, or trying to manipulate her with your own will and your own ability to do that so well. You have this calmness about you, and it is part of who you are, but it has its limits. Like anything in the Saturn return, we're here to meet the limits. Like any open center, we're here to be wise about it. And the not self would be to avoid the confrontation. But it's 20 years. It's 20 years. So you have to face the truth, her truth, which means you have to face your truth as well in relationship to her. You're not available for intimacy all the time. Look at your sacral. The only thing you're available is for your own rhythm, your own flow. You're probably a musician or involved in music in some way, and probably a damn good one too, I would think, if that is the case. But still, here you are, with an open solar plex. And yes, you've got gates there, and I'm not going to do a full analysis on it. My point is simply this. She does need more from a relationship. She does. And you can't change yourself. What are you going to do? Buy some genes from one of these tech giants and change who you are? Go get yourself a 59.6. Then everything's going to be fine. It'll sort it out. You won't be the same person. God knows what that'll do to you. But basically, we are limited in what we are. We have a limited design, every one of us. And you are who you are, and she is who she is. And that's the way it is. And this is the crunch point. This is when there is no more avoidance. Her emotional clarity is demanding that she organize the deal in a different way. It sucks now. You know, she's here to make the deal, and it's non-negotiable. So what are you going to do? If you make that deal, you're still open emotionally. If you twist yourself out of shape, it's not going to work, obviously, because it's not you. It will blow up into something far more. You have to accept the truth, and she has to accept the truth too, that you are not capable of fulfilling her emotional needs. And it's not about having a weak solar plex. It's about the truth of the one that does have that. There is nothing more powerful than the emotional energy and awareness. It is the major dominating force in the world. And no amount of reasoning will do anything, not at this stage. There's nothing you can argue your way out of. There's no point of view you can put. It is what it is. And you have to confront it. You can try to make the deal. I'm not here to interfere with your relationship. You know, it's for you to see that this is her truth. If you've had conversations with her for 3 days or a few days and she hasn't changed her tune, it's not like she's in a negative dip in her wave and, you know, that's it. This has been going on for 20 years. And she's still not moving her ground. She's allowing you space to see what you do in the hope that you'll come round. And you're being open to her, hoping she's going to come round. I mean, it's so sad and so painful. And I understand that. And yet you have to face it. You have 10 third lines in the chart. It's not like, you know, you're not made to break the bond. You certainly are. And it's not like you're not made to live a bumpy life. Your nodal path is nothing but third line. I mean, I got third lines all over the place as well. I know what that is. But you even more so. And yeah, you're going to miss each other like crazy. And this doesn't mean that you can't remake the bond by accepting the difference later on, but it's not going to be the same relationship. It's not going to be the same thing. It can be a deep, deep friendship. But if she wants more of your time, and, you know, you must be in control of your time, you are the channel of rhythm. What can you do? What can she do? Human design is the science of what is. And she's showing you that this is the way it is. And you have to face it. And that probably means breaking the bond in the way that you've had this relationship up until now. It does not have to be done in a conflict, in a reaction, in, you know, a fight. You know, she might feel like she's really up for it because she's got that energy at last. She's come to her clarity. She wants you to kind of do what you're supposed to do. And you're not having any of it. That is the truth. That is the truth. And so you have to accept the consequences, and so does she. And you have to accept the consequences of her really longing for that connection and her finding it with someone else. And we will see over time how that plays out. If there can still be a long-lasting friendship, there may well be. 20 years is a long time. You know, another 20 years and you may still be dear friends, but it's not going to be the same thing. It might be deeper in some ways, but there's no way you can surrender to that. And you know it. So the not self is avoiding the emotional truth. The true self is to be able to confront the truth when it is shown to you, especially in such a clear way. That's the way it is. So you now have to do your work. You now have to let go inside. You have to accept that truth that she's showing you. And that's going to hurt, and it's going to hurt for a long time. But you will eventually both move on, because that is the way it is. The thing about human beings is somewhere we think that everybody's just like us. And human design comes along and goes, nope, you're all unique. You're all different. And it's about accepting those differences. What else to do? What else are you going to do? What else can be done? I mean, you can pretend for a little while, but maybe that's already been going on. I don't know. It's certainly not enough, not when it reaches this stage. So welcome to a very strong lesson in limitations in Saturn. And no, there's nothing wrong with you. You are the way you are, and she is the way she is. Accept the truth and share that with her. And in that, the friendship can continue in a new way, in a new evolution, or not. It depends how much she's really hurting. It depends how time affects both of you. But from what I've seen, if it's done in such a way to accept the truth and to realize that indeed you do not have what it takes to fulfill her at an emotional level in the way that she really needs, then it could be fine as friends. Face the truth and share that with her. No point putting it off. You've got this little pause, and great that you reached out to me. And I've given you my honest response to this. So to the first question, is it always a constant handicap? No, it is the way it is. It's only a handicap if you think you're emotional when you're not. It's only a handicap if you try to meet the emotional energy when you don't have it, and you're just going to amplify and distort what you're receiving from them. That's the not self. And I respect the fact that you have done what you've done. I respect the fact that you've managed to negotiate a bit of space, and in that space to prepare yourself for moving on. I can see from your design that you're a good man. You have a lot in you that can be a really good man, and that you really do want to help humanity, and you do want to help bring more ease and functionality and improve the lives of those around you. But when it comes to emotional energy, none of that matters. Not really. None of that matters. Look at the solar plex. There's no logic there. There's no logical channels or logical gates. There's no point in trying to reason with the solar plex. It's not going to work. They can't hear that. It's irrelevant. Reason is nothing compared to feeling. Reason is detached. Reason is a completely different world away from emotional energy and awareness. It's nothing to do with it. It's nothing to do with it. I mean, emotionals will say, I'm upset because of this, because of what you've done or whatever. But, they go through the waves all the time. It's not like the waves are going to stop. There'll always be something that will trigger it, or something that the mind can point to. But the truth is, it's just the emotional energy that moves in its own way and takes them to process the feelings. You're trying to process emotional feelings with an open solar plex. Good luck with that. I mean, what are you going to process it with? It's not like it's going to move. You can think through it. You can go, well, what's the best strategy here? Or it's not a living force for you to process. It's the mind going in there, well out of its depth now. I mean, for you to be confronted in this way, I think must be quite a surprise to you. Because there's not many people, I think, that could get through to you in the way that she's gone through to you. But it's not going to be about processing. It's going to be about letting go and processing the letting go and processing the grief and processing the loss, the sense of loss, and having all the memories come back, you know, and all that you have to go through that will come through a split, to grow through that. It's only after a relationship is over that you really see what it was all about. It's one of the lessons that you have in your 46th game. You have to see it through to the end. And it sounds to me from what you've said that this could be the end of that kind of relationship. And you'll see, if that is the case, you will then see what the processing is about. And it's going to be about you letting go. It is the crunch. It is that other side of non-emotionals meeting emotionals. It always comes down to this, one way or the other. And in that sense, it's not a handicap. It's a recognition of truth. And that's a beautiful thing. Painful though it may be, the truth is always beautiful. So I hope that was helpful. And viewers, I hope you've enjoyed this one. And if you have, please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll be back again very soon with something completely different. See you then. Bye.